one education can do to transform a life. We're really proud of those statistics because our students truly represent our local community, and they bring a richness to campus that you just don't have when you're on a more traditional college campus. Our students learn from award-winning faculty for both teaching and research. We place a high emphasis on providing students with the best practices in pedagogy and instruction in the physical and in the virtual classroom. And later on in my presentation, I'll talk a little bit about what we're doing to make the virtual experience exceptional for our students. So we put all of this big package together, and we put out a pretty well-rounded and well-prepared graduate. And our post-graduation studies statistics show that 92% of WSU TriCities graduates are employed or pursuing graduate school within 6 months of graduation. And I can assure you that that is well above the national average. So we are very, very proud of that statistic. WSU also has the highest graduation rate east of the Cascade Mountains, which includes all of the 2- and 4-year institutions that are on the east side. Gotten used to saying the east side. Okay, TriCities offers 20 bachelor's degree programs and 30 master's and PhD programs, so quite a few. We're home to 6 academic colleges. And as I mentioned, these degree programs were developed to meet the local needs of industry. Specifically, and if you don't know the history, specifically they were developed to educate the Hanford workforce through providing advanced engineering and other graduate programs to the Hanford site. So that is our history, and we stay true to that. But we have also grown to meet the community needs as the community has grown. So we offer business, education, nursing, a lot of science programs. A lot of those lead to pre-med and physical therapy and all of those things. And we have those traditional programs like English and history and other liberal arts programs. Big one for us right now is computer science. And I have to say, of course, wine science has been a very popular program for us. It's important to note that 85% of WSU TriCities students are from Benton and Franklin counties, and more than 80% remain in our local region after they graduate. So I've said this before, and I just can't say it enough. We are so proud to serve our region in this way and provide an educated local workforce. Most of our students also complete an internship while they're going to school. And yes, even now, they complete an internship while going to school. Everybody's gone virtually, or most industries have gone virtual, and so that enables us to still continue to offer internships. And those internships pair directly with their degree program. So again, it makes them job ready, makes them job ready for local industries, and it's a win-win for our community and for our students. Love this picture. So this is one thing that I was brought here to do, and one thing that I've accomplished, even if enrollment is a little bit down. Last spring, we broke ground on a $30 million academic building that will feature mostly our science labs, from our courses ranging from biology to chemistry to geology to anatomy. All of those things will be in this building. So you can see on the upper left-hand side of the slide, that's what the building will look like when it's complete. You can see the inside on the upper right-hand side of the slide, and then you can see where it's at today on those bottom 2 slides. The steel is up. We're ready to put on walls. And I think what's really nice about this building is that nearly every student on the WSU TriCities campus will benefit from it. every student that has to take a lab course, which is most of them, a science lab course, will be in this building. And then, of course, our upper division science labs will be in there as well. But it also will host a large range of meeting spaces and study spaces and collaborative spaces that all of our students will be able to take advantage of. Our faculty, staff, and even community members eventually will be able to gather in this space. So you can see in that upper right-hand corner, that's our staircase. It's designed on one side to be traditional stairs. It's designed on the other to be sort of a lecture area for to host lectures and events. We're really grateful to the Washington State Legislature for funding for the facility. I was told when I got here, do not expect to get full funding from the legislature. They always cut something. We got the full amount that we asked for. So we're really, really pleased that they found that this building was so important to us and to the community. Construction is continuing. It has continued. It never shut down in March like some of the other buildings because it's a state building and therefore is considered essential. So our construction workers are, of course, observing safety standards. I should say more safety standards because our construction workers always observe standards or safety standards, but they are also now they have the COVID safety standards on top of it. We are scheduled to open this next summer. So we'll have hopefully have a big ribbon cutting ceremony and have the community out to celebrate with us. We have a couple of key partnerships. One with, I've already talked a little bit about, but I can tell you more about it. Hanford is still a very important partner to us, as is the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory. Again, I said this before, but we have a particular strength in science and engineering. We are located in the TriCities Research District, and we have very close proximity to PNNL and the Hanford site. We're also, you're all well aware, in the heart of the Washington wine country, and so it's only logical that our strengths lie in the areas that support the needs of these particular industries. Two prime examples are a partnership with the Hanford for student projects that help with the cleanup effort. Every year, our students engage with Hanford contractors to do real-world experiments to help with their cleanup efforts. And we also, of course, have a strong partnership with the Pacific Northwest National Laboratory on this campus, especially for a range of bioproduct projects that are designed to develop cleaner and more efficient biofuels and different kinds of bioproducts. I'll talk a little bit more about that, but it's a perfect blend of what we do here in agriculture and what we do here in science. Through our engineering programs, student groups regularly meet with Hanford contractors for their senior design projects, where they have developed autonomous robots and other equipment. That middle picture there, I'm pointing to it as if you can see what I'm pointing to, so I'll describe. That middle picture there is an autonomous robot that is designed to go into the tanks, detect what is in there, and send that information back out so that workers don't have to actually go into the tanks to figure out what is in there and what kind of precautions they need to take. And that was developed by a class of students when I first got here. We also house what's called the Hanford History Project. We have hundreds of dozens of artifacts that are stored just off-site on our campus, and we're hoping to be able to get a place together soon where we can actually exhibit those artifacts. But in the meantime, students have the opportunity to learn more about Hanford and the history of Hanford. We a lot of our faculty are writing books and doing other kinds of historical projects about the Hanford site. There was an article in the New York Times just recently. I thought it was fascinating if you didn't read it, but it said, if you're talking about the nuclear age, you're wrong. If you're talking only about Oak Ridge or you're talking only about Los Alamos, that Hanford is the place where that really launched us in to the atomic age and to the modern age of nuclear energy and all things nuclear, really. So it's a great article. I believe it came out last week. So we are, as I mentioned, we're also a strong partner with PNNL. We have 3 joint institutes with them. So our institutes include Nuclear Sciences and Technology. That's mostly run off of the Pullman campus because the Pullman campus has a nuclear reactor, and PNNL will take advantage of that. But it's a strong partnership, and we do have some of our faculty out there working on this as well. We have what we call an advanced grid institute, and this is where cybersecurity is really coming in handy for our students, because it's all about how do we make sure that the power grid works, and how do we make sure that the power grid is protected. And of course, we have Bioproducts Institute, and that's very connected with the Biosciences Engineering Laboratory that's located on the WSU TriCities campus. So all of these provide core pathways for our researchers to combine their expertise and develop solutions, again, to very real world problems, and develop technology that will elevate what is possible through the sciences. And that's so important for our students to learn. We are, I've said this, we're a particular partner with the Bioproducts Institute, with the lab on campus. A couple of things that have come from that is that we're creating jet fuel, a lot of jet fuel, but from different sources, from crop remnants. Again, that's that good blending of the area that we're in, and science. We're also creating jet fuel from sewage sludge, and we're developing refining processes in the biofuels creation process. How do you develop these so that we have more efficient and cleaner biofuels? One of my favorites is also that we are working on a plant-based styrofoam that is fully biodegradable. So hopefully that we'll be able to bring that one to market soon. I got ahead of myself, and I'm going to talk a little bit about the premier research. That styrofoam is one piece of that. But we have research, cutting edge research on our campus. And again, always tied to local industry. So you can see in the slide, I got to stop pointing. It's just one of the things I do. But in the middle bottom, our wine science program. We have national and international efforts on examining the impact of, no surprise, wildfire smoke. We're perfectly located for that, on wine production and the taste of wine and how to get it out of your wine. We have a lot of sensory experimentation and development, as well as a lot of crop disease prevention, specifically for grapes. I've talked a lot already about our bioproducts, but it is also at the site of an FAA Center of Excellence, and that's because of the biofuels. We were part of PNNL's effort to fly the first jet with Alaska Airlines using only biofuels in that flight. And again, I already mentioned the styrofoam. Our education program has done extensive research in identifying ways to use virtual and augmented reality to support the classroom, and especially supporting those with disabilities. How do you use artificial intelligence and virtual reality to help guide children with virtual realities through their education. Having those tools there can help them really visualize, all of us visualize better what they're supposed to be looking for. But it's also something that's coming real handy right now as education turns to more of a virtual environment. We also have a National Science Foundation grant to develop hands-on STEM projects in partnerships with our local schools in the Tri-Cities so that we can truly prepare students for STEM careers, and especially those STEM careers that are rich to our area. Let's see here. Oh, I knew this question would probably come up. And so this is what we've been doing since March. This is a little tongue-in-cheek, but I'll bet a lot of people can relate. And if you remember your Super Bowl commercials from a while ago, you'll recognize this video. Oh, phooey, it didn't play. Aha, here it is. So I'm sure you can all relate. We're sort of building this plane as we're flying it. We're trying to decide what virtual education looks like and anything else that we're in this world. But I think the video says it fairly well. We are up there. We're building this as we're flying it. Every time we turn around, there's a new order that comes out from the governor. There are more rules or regulations. There's new pedagogy. There's new stuff is coming at us all the time. So we're really putting it together as we are also delivering that education. And I think that at the end there where he talks about, we're building a dream, and really in education, we are building a dream. So we are very proud to be on the front lines and working our little tails off to make sure that we continue to deliver that quality education. In the spring, our faculty, I hate the word because it's just overused, but I'm going to use it, pivoted incredibly fast in the spring. We decided the week before spring break that we were going to all virtual instruction, and so faculty had 1 week to turn their courses from an on-site face-to-face delivery to something that was virtual, and they did a fabulous, fabulous, fabulous job. So this summer, we made plans to come back in the fall. We made plans to not come back in the fall. We made plans to have come back in the fall. We were considering every eventuality in our plans. And finally, last week we decided, our infection rates in Benton and Franklin County are just not where they need to be. And so in an abundance of caution, we decided to go virtual for the fall. We're prepared for that. Our faculty and our staff have been working all summer long to make sure that whether we're in face-to-face or whether we're virtual, our students get that high quality education. Our faculty have undergone extensive training throughout the summer on virtual and remote learning experiences. And these are going to continue into the fall. Our faculty, and actually our students too, but our faculty will have access to trainings to make sure that their delivery is state of the art. You can see up in the upper left hand, I hope that that's the same. Now suddenly it dawned on me, it might be different, but my upper left hand slide there's a new technology that we're using called Learning Glass. it's great for virtual environments. So that the faculty member is writing on a piece of glass there. She's behind it. On the other side, there's a mirror image of what she's writing, and she's looking at the Zoom or at the students that she's working with. So she doesn't even have to move, and she can point and explain this. And it's so great on an online environment. You can see it just shows up so clearly, and it really gives students and faculty members a way to interact without, looking at the whiteboard, looking at the camera, looking at the whiteboard, looking at the camera. It's really a great tool. All of our normal student resources are open as well. We have tutoring that's virtual. We have our IT desk virtual, advising, the writing center, TRIO, counseling, veteran center. All of those things are open and available to our students virtually. We also are trying to plan engaging activities for our students with lectures and other programs. In a couple of weeks, we'll be having a drive-in movie on campus. We'll be following all the governor's rules and regulations, no concession, only related people in a car, but we'll be showing a movie with safety measures and precautions, because we don't know when we might change over and have in-person learning again. So our incident command team, I believe that we are on day 160 of our incident command team. They're supposed to be for emergencies, and we're still at it. But we're putting up safety protocols, all the plexiglass, all the signage, a lot of safety gear, hand sanitizers, masks, all of that stuff we have on campus. We also know that many of our students and their families have not fared well. I loved that prayer. Thank you so much, Sarah, for that, but they've not necessarily fared so well in this crisis. So we've placed a lot of emphasis on raising funds for student hardship. Last spring, WSU as a system, not just TriCities, received $10 million in CARES Act funds that got dispersed to students based on their financial need. We also received on this campus $25,000 donation from STCU that went directly to student hardship funds. We've also gotten donations that helped us provide students with Chromebooks, with Wi-Fi hotspots as needed, because not everybody, Benton and Franklin counties are pretty spread out. Plus, we get students from all over. We know that students don't have always have the kind of technology that they need, or access to Wi-Fi that they need. So we're trying to make sure that students have the technology they need to be successful. We've also kept, and we will continue to keep, a number of computer stations open on campus, and we have Wi-Fi in our parking lot, and we have Wi-Fi at all of our extension centers, so students can drive in and get Wi-Fi. I'm not encouraging them to do that over the last couple of weeks, because they have to stay in their car, and this has just been amazing. So one more very important service that's been kept open is our Lamb Weston Cougar Cupboard, which is our student food pantry. That remains open. It will remain open. And we've extended our pickup locations in Pasco and Kennewick, so students don't have to come out to North Richland to pick up their food. We do know that incoming and continuing students are going to need additional support for the fall, especially in gearing up. It wasn't just colleges that were affected by the shutdown in March, it was high schools as well. And so we developed what we're calling a virtual jumpstart program, so that students can log in, and it's any student, doesn't have to be a WSU TC student, and get up to speed or feel like they get a review of their reading, their math, their writing, study tips, and things like that, so that they feel more prepared to really enter college because they didn't quite get that last part of their semester in high school. That's going to launch for us on August 17th, about a week before classes start for us, which is August 24th. I think with that, I can stop and take more questions. Just know that we're prepared. And of course, I have to say, go Cougs.